that was the Kings game. I'm not speechless. I'm not mad. I'm basically kind of numb at this point when it comes to the Wizards being tied with one of the worst defensive teams is unfortunately a slight victory. It shouldn't be, but it is. And when you go into the fourth quarter having let this team stick around for as long as you did, it's inevitable that that team has a chance to win. It's just, basic logic. So when De'Aaron Fox hits a game-winning shot over Bradley Beal, and then there's still 0.7 seconds left, and De'Aaron Fox has put the Kings up. It only makes sense that Scott Brooks runs the exact same play from Boston to put Brad in the corner instead of trying to run, a lob play to Rui Hachimura, anything going to the rim. But hey, this is nothing new with the Wizards. We're going to wake up tomorrow, Scott Brooks is still going to be coach. And these same issues that still plague this team are going to still plague this team. Until they make any really significant shifts in their play, which can't be done because the roster only has so much. It was crazy is there was actual bench contributions. There was at one point the bench had like 24 points. Robin Lopez was doing things. Raul Neto was doing things. Denny Advia was scoring at times. And Rui was looking like a third option. And you still end up with like this result because the game plan is kind of just wonky. It ended on Russ throwing it to the bench, which just really sealed the game. But prior to that, it's just these are the same issues that plague this team. And it feels like the mediocrity is what will be this team's true nature. That win streak, again, looks more and more like an aberration as opposed to what could have been a turning point. And now, Rui has been doing well as of late. They've come in losses, but they have found a way to get Rui going. Unfortunately, again, it has not been able to coincide with the victory, and doesn't surprise me. I'm used to it at this point. I just have to hope that by the time that the team reaches the off season, they don't think that they went on that 7-game winning streak. That's really them. It just has to be a full reset. I feel like I'm just gonna keep banging that drum because it's hard to really take anything substantial because the more losses pile up, the harder it is to make the playoffs. No matter how wonky this season has been, it's harder and harder to make the playoffs. Obviously, there are things out of your control. Thomas Bryant, that wasn't in your control. Scott Brooks is in your control. Tommy Shepard is in your control. The fact that they are potentially trying to look at making the moves that they're trying to make without the proper assets because their assets are depreciated because the guy they hired to be player development is absolute garbage at it and has actually probably stunted careers because we've seen Tomas Satoransky become at least decent on the Bulls. We've seen Otto Porter go to the exact same team and be decent. It's just a wonder, And so I just hope for an off season where it's a full reset. They hire competent people, and it sucks to be a fan of a team that is going to be happy with C+, and instead it's C-, honestly. Be happy with C- effort. You do just well enough to pass, but you never really can excel. You have players that can definitely excel. And that's not for me to then say, I don't want it to sound hypocritical, but I don't want Andre Drummond because that's just making it even worse. He has no spacing. His stats are occasionally eye-popping, but his actual game and effort are not good enough, and that's why no one has immediately thrown a bunch of players for him. It's the reason why Pistons got what they got for him when they traded him to Cleveland initially. And really, someone brought up like the idea of Denny versus Tyrese Halliburton, because I'll talk about the Kings a little bit. De'Aaron Fox, absolute star, hit the game-winning shot, but just in general, his penetration and his speed. His speed is the popular thing about him, but his penetration, his ability to find guys is incredible. And then you match that with Tyrese Halliburton, who has been phenomenal as a rookie. And obviously, people have talked about like, wow, all these teams pass on him, and someone's gonna get fired for it. Even if you were to swap Denny and Tyrese Halliburton, I just worry that Tyrese would not be getting the same opportunity, especially when you already have 2-star guards. It's like, and the coach that we have has a hard on for running veterans constantly. Doesn't have kind of any kind of sensibility towards rookies. He's very, very conservative about rookies, but very random with rotations anyway. But the Kings have like promise. And that's the difference when these two teams played each other, is that you can see De'Aaron Fox becoming even greater than he is, and basically probably going to be an all-star soon. Tyrese Halliburton definitely could follow in a couple seasons. I mean, Harrison Barnes was contributing as well. You know, Buddy Hield's doing things. He might get traded, but Buddy Hield was a scorer for them. They're not the best team, but they have promising pieces. The Wizards have pieces that could have potential, but ultimately, under this current structure, there's no way they're ever going to be able to do anything consistently great. It feels like we have a coach that players are succeeding in spite of, not because of. And so, ultimately, I feel like I'll be saying the same thing with the Jazz game. That we ran into a better team. And no. Kings were not a better team. The Kings and Wizards are equal. We ran into a good team. We probably tried hard, but that good team was good and had good strategy and has a proper roster, has balance. Wizards don't. It's very just all over the place. So yeah, you know. I feel like people are gonna be like, this is the loss that gets him fired. It's not. If he could outlast John Wall, that was it. That sealed it for me. And if he wasn't gonna get fired after having the same record as Lloyd Pierce when Lloyd Pierce got fired this season, it's not happening. If it does happen, maybe I'll reverse jinx it. It's definitely not happening. I'll reverse jinx it, but yeah, no, that wasn't fun at all. It was just like painful to watch. Like both teams were like, it was weird. It was a shootout in a way. Like there was a lot of scoring, and then it sort of slowed down tremendously in the fourth, and neither team could hit a shot, and then it was tied all of a sudden. But I didn't really feel excited. I didn't feel like, oh, this is gonna mean something if they win. Wizards have not proven to be a good team. They're decent. At best, they are decent. So, yeah. I don't think I can really extrapolate anything meaningful from this game beyond Rui's development and maybe Denny's development, but until the Wizards make some wholesale staff changes, it's hard to trust anything that will that will happen with this franchise. But yeah, Jazz game is next. Tune in. I get it. It's a joke about music. Okay. Energy's not super high. Yeah. Well, this guy says Jazz. I don't know if Wizards. I don't know what genre Wizards listen to. I don't know if they're metal aficionados or maybe they're into some trap hop or maybe they who knows, you know, maybe they listen to Doja Cat, maybe they listen to Megan Thee Stallion, you know, sometimes you gotta feel like a hottie, but whew, see if they can survive a concert that's just jazz.
WizWatch.